Hi there, this is Krista Moore, and welcome to the Krista Moore Show. This show is brought to you by K Coaching as a new way to learn from experts and thought leaders as they share their stories on wellness and success. And I'm just thrilled to have a guest back again today, 2 weeks in a row, because it was such a popular subject. I'm going to be interviewing for a second time today a nutrition and fitness coach and a friend of mine, and her name is, I want to get your last name right because all I ever know you is Inez. Inez Sobczak, right? Are you there?
Sobczak.
So,
Sobczak.
yeah, that. Well, you know what I love is let's just go with Inez. I mean, who doesn't want to have a first name that's just recognized? Inez, Fitness Inez.
Hello, there.
That's right. So there you are. And Fitness Nez is your company name. So I thought I'd just give you a little bit of time to introduce yourself to the audience, give them a little bit of a background on who you are, some of your experience, and your areas of expertise.
Great. Thank you, Krista. Appreciate being back for part 2.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Inez. I own a wellness company called Fitness here in Arlington, Virginia, aka I refer to it as Washington, D.C. My whole purpose is to inspire and empower people with the gift of fitness and health. I do it in a variety of different ways. That can include nutrition coaching, personal training, corporate wellness coaching, you name it. Anything regarding fitness, nutrition, and wellness, I do. I've been doing that for the last 15 years. And so gotten really good at helping people navigate the terrains on how to live their best fit life.
That sounds great, Inez. And I just want to give a little bit of background. I met you for the first time in January, right?
Yes.
Yeah, seems like 6 months ago, but it really wasn't that long ago. We were both going to a manifestation retreat in Isla Mujeres, and I'm getting off the plane, getting ready to find my taxi, and I see Inez, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at her. She's all physically fit and beautiful and healthy and smiling. And so I was really like physically attracted to you, and it was because I think it was just what you represented, this pillar of strength to me. And then I was thrilled that you were sitting beside me in the car on the way to the retreat center. But I want to thank you for what impact you had on my life in the time that we spent together when we were on that retreat. I was fortunate enough to walk with you every morning about 5 miles to the sunset and sunrise, excuse me. And I don't know, it was just like having my own personal health and wellness coach all to myself. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome, Krista. I share the same gratitude. I felt like our conversations really opened me up in the sense that I got to explore really some of my childhood memories and get back to a bit of my 10-year-old self and really explore that. And I never thought about it until I met you. So thank you so much for that opportunity. And
that's great.
I think we were meant to meet, and now more than ever, we get to share both of our gifts with so many people today.
That's right. And I wanted to bring you on as a guest, and I know that, I'm not sure you realize this, but last week was one of our most popular shows ever. And I attribute that to the great topic and the timeliness of fitness and health and wellness and well-being. And plus, a lot of people are at home and maybe they're more inclined to tune in on a Wednesday afternoon. But either way, wanted to continue to give them more of what they loved. We've got a lot of questions, and I want to encourage our listeners today to go ahead and type questions that come up, and we'll get them answered from Inez while we have the expert here. We also, I want to make sure that everybody knows we are giving you a special guide today. I have it on my clipboard, but this particular guide we're going to be emailing to you after the show. And it's a Fitness immunity guide. And I love your saying, Inez, food is medicine and exercise is the cure. So why don't we start off with that? Tell me about that quote and what that means to you.
It's so powerful for me because it allows me to teach people that they have everything that they need in order to live their best fit life. And the way that they do that is by what they're choosing to eat or not eat, and then how they choose to move. And so if you really think about it, food can either help or hurt you. In this case, it can be the best defense against any stressor in life. So maybe it's COVID-19, maybe it's the flu down the road, whatever it is, food could be your medicine. And one way to keep your immune system and your mental integrity strong is by moving. So if you can just remember one thing today, food is medicine, exercise is a cure.
When you talk about food in general, and I think there's a lot of people that are facing cooking at home more, maybe easier access to snacks, and it could get unhealthy, you know, being on the couch, not moving, Netflix binging. And so what advice would you give them, just in general, what advice would you give those that are kind of finding themselves quarantined, stuck at home, but they need to be focused on making sure that they're aware of how they're doing physically and how they're eating?
I'm really glad that you brought that up because it really goes into the different types of eating. There's fuel eating, where you're eating foods that are going to help you perform best throughout the day. And then there's emotional eating, or some people call it storm or fog eating, where you're just like mindlessly eating. And by the time you finish the bag of Doritos, you don't even realize you finished it. And sometimes you're eating the stress of the news. Sometimes you're eating the anxiety of what you're going to do with your kids now that they're home. Sometimes you're eating the joy of maybe you got a bonus at work right now because you're working overtime. Whatever it is, sometimes our food is our friend and we treat it as such by taking in too much. And so what I would encourage people to do is first reset and really map out your meals for the day, so you don't fall in that slippery slope of starting to transfer over to emotional fog eating.
And when you use the term that food is medicine, it really makes me feel differently about food.
It should empower you, because so many people right now are trying to stock up on supplements and vitamins and you name it, but the best vitamin is food. And so if you choose the right food, you could really help bulletproof your immune system, but more importantly, it could help you just have a better day. Because for example, let's take I mentioned Doritos. Doritos is a processed food. And so what happens is when you put junk in your body, and when I say junk, very processed food, like artificial ingredients that you can't spell nor pronounce, your body doesn't know what to do with it. So it's kind of like hankering through it. And so it'll just hold on to it, and it slows everything down, including your metabolism, your immune functioning, and your brain functioning. Also, when you take a hit like that, and I'm saying this in the most layman's term because I want to say this in a way where people are able to digest it.
Yes.
And so I'm going to break it down in a very layman's way. We could go scientific, but why do that to you? You know? So when you ingest something like Doritos, your blood sugar goes through the roof. And then when it starts to drop, you start kind of falling down and you crash and burn. So you'll feel really good and then you'll feel really bad. And I call it like bipolar food. Is that you're real high and it can get you real low, all within a span of maybe an hour. And right now, more than ever, we're taking in so much in a 24-hour period. Do you really want to do that to yourself?
Yeah.
It has highs and lows that you can't control.
So
or do you want to go back to fuel eating, where you can actually you have some control? You can use food as medicine and also maybe the tool to help you digest the news or whatever thing you're tackling that day better.
Well, and I think in general, we use this term eating healthy, opposed to not eating healthy, or eating junk food, and that there's like this, I'm either healthy or I'm not eating healthy. And I think that can be very confusing. Also, I wanted to mention to you that most people probably know when they're putting something in their mouth, even though it's an emotional component or a fueling component, whether it's good or bad, you would think. But it's almost as though there's a craving around it. Is there kind of a counterintuitive thing going on there with I'm craving these types of food emotionally?
Yes. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it reminds me of a call that I just had the other day with a client who's really struggling right now with emotional eating. She has a virtual coaching relationship with me. We do something like this. And I said, hey, walk me through this week. What's going on? And she's like, every time I get upset, I'm craving. And right now her go-to has been ice cream. I'm craving ice cream. I can't stop eating ice cream. And she's like, I just have a sugar craving. I have a sugar tooth. And so I'm eating that all the time and I can't break that habit. So what I shared with her, which I think will be helpful for our listeners today, is that what you're craving is not a craving at all. It's a habit. You've created this habit of when I get stressed or when I get upset, I turn to my food, aka ice cream, ask my friend to help me get through it so I don't have to do it myself. It's like like things are much easier when your friend goes along with you. And so self-isolating, the only friend you really have is Ben and Jerry's in the freezer. So you go get Ben and Jerry's, you think you're on the couch, Ben and Jerry's is with you, and you know what? It feels a little bit easier. For that one moment in time, it feels a little bit easier. And there's a psychological part that gets attached to that. Now your correlation is, hey, when I go through something really hard, one thing that'll help me get through it is Ben and Jerry's. And so now you've created this association plus the habit. And so now that feels like this overwhelming craving. This is what I shared with her and what I would share with anyone who is struggling with this type of emotional eating this week or any other time in their life, is that you have all the power within you to break that habit by starting today with just trying to do something different, to maybe replace Ben and Jerry's with, instead of food, maybe just getting outside and getting some fresh air. Maybe making a new playlist, like your favorite top 10 music playlist for the walk that you're going to have later with your, significant other, or maybe it's not going to be a walk outside. Maybe it's just your shower power playlist. But doing something different instead of doing what you did. It doesn't make what I don't want people to think I'm food shaming or body shaming here. What I'm trying to encourage people to think through is that you have the power. Like, it is a habit you can break just by making one rep today of doing something different. And then you do it again tomorrow, and then the next day. And then all of a sudden you have 3 internal reps of I did something different when I was going through something hard.
Yeah.
And that's your new habit.
Well, and I think also understanding the choices in food that we have. And what do you mean by food is medicine, right? Like, what type of food is medicine to us? What would be some examples of that? And maybe that would also get people thinking more in line of what that food is doing for us, for our mood, for our body, for our health, for our immune system.
Sure. So I think to answer the question, it's twofold. So one, most of the time when you sit down in front of a meal, you should be asking yourself this question: does this meal help me get to my goal of living a healthier life? If it does, eat them. If it doesn't, run away. In terms of what some of those foods could be that help you get to your goal, right now, probably the global goal is to be healthy, and have a strong immune system. So when I'm choosing food as a nutritionist, I'm going to choose food that is nutrient dense with vitamin C. 3 examples of foods that have vitamin C: broccoli, spinach, and citrus fruit. So if you can get your hands on those things, great. If for some reason your store does not have them, or Instacart did not deliver it for you this week, then what my suggestion is go frozen with those items. If they don't have it frozen, go canned. But at least our first source would be the natural, fresh vitamin C staples.
Yeah. Something else that we spoke about was the importance of sleep and getting the proper amount of sleep that your body needs to keep, kind of just keep the energy level that you need, but also your mind clarity. So I'd like you to share with our audience a little bit about sleep and maybe some tips or techniques that you think we should all be considering.
Sleep is vital in keeping your immune system strong. I actually read a statistic this week that says that you're 60% more susceptible in getting sick if you don't get 4 to 6 quality hours of sleep. And I can raise my hand and say that this has happened to me this past week by not getting enough sleep. When you don't get enough sleep, what it does to your body in a physiological way is that it suppresses your immune system. Your sleep cycle is the only opportunity the body can recover, reset, and get going for the next day. If you shortchange it, your day that's coming up is going to get shortchanged as well.
Yeah.
So now more than ever, if you can think of, hey, if I have some free time, you know what you're going to do? Sleep. However, I would say at the same token, try not to get too much sleep. I know some of my clients right now are getting like 10, 12 hours of sleep. Yes, sleep is great, but you can get too much and it can make you too tired. So it's all about that nice balance. So I would shoot for most, 6 to 8 quality hours of continuous sleep.
And something that's been happening to me, and I think it has everything to do with maybe the level of stress or uncertainty that's happening out there with the COVID-19. But I'll wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and then I can't get back to sleep. And then my mind just is thinking about all these things, and I call it stinking thinking. I mean, I'm just laying there thinking about things and have a hard time falling asleep. And then there are other nights when I go into bed and I can't, get my mind relaxed to fall asleep quickly. What advice would you give us when it comes to sleep patterns or things that we can do to make sure that we have a good night's sleep?
Well, it's hard to go to sleep when your mind is racing. And now more than ever, we have so many things on our mind. So the one way to control the uncertainty in your life is to create some type of predictability. And you do that by creating some type of routine. So I would encourage every person to put together a sleep routine if you don't have one, and really look at the sleep routine and see if it's effective. 3 things that I encourage clients to do as a nutrition and fitness expert is, first, pick a time that you're going to go to sleep every night, rather than saying, well, tonight I'm going to go to bed at 9 and the next day at 11 and the next day at 12. Say, hey, 9 o'clock's my cutoff. My phone's on do not disturb. I go to bed at 9, and make it stick where you really honor that commitment. You start becoming the person that does what she says she's going to do. Additionally, with a sleep routine is that you want to create an environment that's going to allow you to get good quality sleep. So your environment should not have any TV or technology in it. Keep it clean, keep it serene. I personally, right now, am making sure that I have blackout curtains, I have lavender oil, there's no TV, there's no phone in my room. That thing is blacked out. Is my most serene environment, so I can get the one thing in my day that's going to help me bulletproof my immune system. And then last but not least, it's important that you shut your mind down. And you shut your mind down by really closing the loop in the outside world, whether it's news, social media, that book, like shut it down within 90 minutes of sleeping so your mind is not racing. I can't tell you, people will do some work, close the laptop, and then try to go to sleep. Yeah, you're not going to go to sleep. Why do you think you could? Like, you're going to think about whatever you just were working on probably for the next 3 to 4 hours. So if you go back to what I said about how important sleep is, the study says 60% more susceptible of getting sick if you don't get the right sleep. So if you need a reason to get sleep, there it is. There it is.
Well, and when I think about those, those evenings that I do get better sleep, I can go back and rethink about what was I doing and how did that, feed into it. Like if I took a nice relaxing bath or I wasn't watching any TV. So I think that's great advice. And I know and realize how important sleep patterns are. And I know Eddie, my husband, he measures his sleep on his watch, and he has a competition with one of his friends. They'll like take pictures of their phone. Oh, I was a 92. Oh, I was a 76. Because they're realizing, hey, this is important to my health.
Yeah, I mean, sleep could be on your blackboard. Like, why not? Like, now more than ever, our way of staying connected with other people is like through social media or FaceTime or whatnot. So why not say, hey, I heard on this talk today how important sleep is. I'm going to start measuring it. Let's all like track it together and send a report in the morning.
Yeah.
So I think that's
great. I think there's an accountability component that's built into that. And I know personally, Eddie and I have been trying to go to bed earlier and get more into a routine, but then we get stuck watching TV or, oh, let's just watch one more episode, and kind of blows it. So I think helping each other be accountable is important if you have an accountability partner. That being said, Inez, we were talking about this last week, and you were referring to your green shake in the morning and how it like gets your day off. And I decided I'm going to do green shakes. And I just want you to know, from an accountability standpoint, I've had my green shake every day since last Wednesday, and I love it.
Virtual high five, give it to me. That's awesome. And here's the thing, have you gotten sick in the last week?
No.
Nope. And are you feeling better?
I do feel better. And actually, I have a whole lot more energy. And I don't know if this is true or not, but it actually curbs my appetite. So I'm doing the green shake after working out in the morning, and I just feel like I'm not hungry until I absolutely am hungry, instead of feeling like I've got to have lunch right away.
And just a good reminder, that's the word I was looking for. Good reminder is that in that green shake is one of those items that you can think of food as medicine, which is just pretty much pressed green veggies, which are chock full of antioxidants and vitamin C. So if you're not getting sick and if you're feeling better and you feel like you're not prone to being triggered by food, it's because you're getting all the right medicine, and you're getting all the right medicine at the beginning of the day. And then you're doing that daily as a habit, so then you just start in a better place. So if there's a habit I ask people to do that today, like literally,
we had someone ask, what is the green shake? So I want to talk about that a little bit from my perspective as a novice user, and then certainly if you have any recommendations. But I've gone off and on starting my day with the green shake, and I can definitely tell you that it makes me feel better when I have it. But sometimes I'll go months, maybe a year without having it. But I do like my shakes in the morning, but this is an alternative to a breakfast shake or a protein shake. I do put protein in my green shake, but I'll take out anything that's green in my refrigerator and pretty much throw it in there. And that might be spinach or broccoli or cucumbers or celery, and just kind of blend it all up together. I'm sure there's better solutions or easier solutions. And then I also have the Arbonne green powder that I love. So I'll put a little scoop of that in, and along with the protein that they offer.
Absolutely. And today in the immunity guide is the recipe for the green smoothie. So I suggest I suggest people to check it out, read it. It's in there. It makes it a no-brainer. But also for those people that are saying like, hey, I don't have time to blend up the green drink in the morning. A quick no-brainer, and this is what I do. I'm a single working mom who runs a company that has a 2-year-old. Like sometimes I don't have time to blend in the Vitamix. So luckily, companies have created powders that have they press these green veggies down, and all you have to do is take a scoop and you put it in your water, and then you know what you do? Wait for it. Drink it. That's it. And when I met Krista, this amazing manifestation retreat, every morning that's what I did. I literally put it in there, and she saw how easy that was, and then so she started doing the same exact thing. So you don't have to have an hour in the morning to make your green juice. All it takes is literally 30 seconds to put a scoop in your water. And if you know that scoop is going to be your medicine to tackle whatever you get thrown at, whatever gets thrown at you, then drink up.
You know, it almost feels like it's just that boost of greens that I'm supposed to have every day as part of my diet to give me the energy that I need. And it just kind of like gives me this quick morning jump. So I'm glad that the recipe is in the guide. I look forward to seeing that. The other thing I want to talk about before we go, and I know we only have a few more minutes,
Really?
but I know it goes fast, doesn't it? I think it's important to talk about meal prep a little bit because people now are changing their habits in terms of cooking at home. I always felt that cooking at home was healthier than eating out because I knew what I was putting into it. But I'm wondering what your opinion is on some of the those food delivery services that are delivering, not just the local delivery services, but HelloFresh. I was on HelloFresh for a while. You get this box, you get all of the recipes, and you get the food. And you know, are those healthy or not healthy? Any ideal brand or recommendation you have with that?
Sure. So usually the number one fear that I see with taking on new nutrition clients is the fear of prepping their own meals. Like meal prep seems daunting. I got to spend all this time in the kitchen. I don't cook. I don't have time. And so it feels a bit overwhelming. And it feels overwhelming just because they don't do it. So one thing that I suggest for folks to take advantage of being at home now is literally just start with one meal. Start with just making your own breakfast. Literally, whether it's that egg white omelet or the oatmeal, start with one meal that you can really get down. And so that can help you create this self-efficacy that, hey, I was able to make that and that was success. What if I start making lunch? What if I start making dinner? What if I start making all these meals ahead of time, and then that'll save me some time, and then I'll be feeding my body the right things, and so I can have a more productive day. If you're someone who says, hey, Inez, I don't have a fear of making the meals, I just actually don't have the time, or I just prefer someone else do it. Like, luckily, we live in a society where we have such resources where it can take some of the things off our plate. So if you want to use a meal prepping delivery service, that's great. I suggest it, especially as a nutritionist, if that helps you save time. My one caution is that we still want to be able to teach you how to fish. So if those meal prep delivery services can't deliver to you because it's COVID-19, you can still make your own meals without being so intimidated by it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we don't really have much time left, but there was another question that came in, and someone was asking about mindset. And just in general, how does mindset play into nutrition and wellness?
Well, you got to get your mind right before you tackle any goal, whether it's fitness or business or family. So if you do not have the mindset that you can actually do this, you won't.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for example, I tell clients when I first take them on is that we got to get you mentally fit. So walk me through some hard things that you've gone through life. And they'll ask me like, why are you asking me to do this? And I share with them, like I'll share with everybody on this call today, is that we already have internal reps of getting through hard stuff. And that's going to be our evidence that we can get through anything that's coming up. So when it comes to mindset, you really want to get your mind right that I can do this. Like I have all the tools inside to get through this. And
Yeah.
yes, it's nice to have a coach to help guide my way. But even as a coach myself, the first tool that I give people is to teach them that you have all the tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And when we're thinking about what's going on with our culture today and our society and our world in terms of people being self-isolated, there's a lot to bring them down, and there's a lot of uncertainty and fear. And practicing proper techniques for making sure that you're showing gratitude, or that you're giving, or you're doing some personal reflection, or setting some daily goals, or thinking positively is really going to help frame the right mindset to get through some of this.
100%.
Well, I just want to thank you again for being our guest, and I hope that everyone is looking in their email for the guide, the Fitness Immunity Guide that we will be sending out right after the show. Give us a call if you didn't get it, but we'll make sure that it gets into your email that we have for you. And I just want to thank everyone for taking the time out today to share with us this conversation. I learned a lot, and I'm hoping that you did too. On behalf of Inez and I, we want you all to be healthy and fit, and we want you to be safe. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you, Inez. Thank you for joining the Krista Moore Show, and I want to continue to give you these types of programs, things that are really going to help you stay on track, on your fast track to your good wellness and your success. So stay tuned most Wednesdays at 2 o'clock for the Krista Moore Show. You can also get a hold of Inez. Here's a slide that kind of shows her contact information if you want to reach out to her. And I want to share that with you. She'll accept an email. You can follow her on Facebook. She has a great Facebook site with many, many, many followers. So I encourage you to connect with her as you have questions about wellness and nutrition and fitness. She's awesome. Also want you to know that any past shows, you can listen to them. Any of the recordings are available on the Krista Moore YouTube channel, but we have put everything organized into GoToStage, which is a platform that GoToWebinar has for us. So you can go to Stage, go to my channel, and you can hear any of these past shows and share them with anyone. So I hope you enjoyed it today, and I want you to take care of yourself. See you soon.